The Ebro Laura Rosenberg Show.
Yo, the way the scratches come off the intro into the beat's kind of tough. If you land it right, it sounds like it's one get down. I am Ebro. That is Laura. That is Rosenberg. Coming to you for another episode of the Ebro Laura Rosenberg Show. The internet seemed to love taking our clips and running the narrative that, you know, we don't have a studio.
Oh, wait, is that so? After you sort of good-naturedly were goofing about no one's checking for us, we can't get guests anymore. So you were talking about one. But
this is also after having huge guests, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I was gonna be like. Too bad. T.I. turned us down. The Dream turned us down. Rhea Ripley turned us down.
No, it's been fine. But so that clip, so they ran with it like, damn, they're whack out here.
Yeah.
And also, damn, they don't even have a studio.
That's right. But I was on the road celebrating Apple's 50th birthday.
Sure.
The 50th anniversary of Apple with Paul McCartney at the.
Did you meet him?
I did.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Met Paul McCartney.
You didn't take a picture?
There's probably some I didn't take. I wasn't like, hey.
Yeah, let me get a
hang
photo.
On, let me get can somebody take a picture with my phone? No.
You didn't
But
do
I'm
that.
sure there's photos that the people who work at Apple took photos.
Okay, I'm saying that's when you got to probably.
But I was also just, supporting my squad. You know what I
Right.
mean? I've been there for
10 years.
10 years now.
All right, well, anyways, whatever, loser. So, and I was in the middle of a move, so I looked like I was broadcasting from a toaster.
Yeah, you were. It was dial up. You had, you know what I'm saying? It was, what was that, AOL?
Bruh. And I messed up, by the way. When I moved from my old place that I just went back to, I ripped the damn black thing out of the wall.
What's the black thing?
Like the before you get to the router, there's like, you have Verizon?
Yep.
It like runs to this black thing.
Yeah. And
I was moving, and I didn't think I was ever going back. I like literally cut it. So they had to re-put that thing back in, like re-but. And I'm an idiot. But the point is, they turned off my internet, so I'm rocking off the cell phone. I look like trash. Laura's the only one who looks decent in the studio. Yeah. And people are loving this clip. Ebro.
Oh, no, they love it. How I haven't seen it on my algo. Ebro's algo hasn't been. Well, actually, I haven't really been on social media like that. But how's it moving?
It's moving.
It's moving.
It's moving.
So are bigger places picking it up, or like I just
just internet trolls? But
like
well, no. The interesting part is the person who started the story is somebody who jumps in our super chat. What's his name?
The Stop.
The Stop.
The Stop, who started out saying he hated our guts with a passion.
That's right.
And now is like, I'm such a huge fan, I can't stop listening.
Then who watches and listens actively
every day,
but to run his own algo up, clip something out of context to just get it going on social to try to create a narrative.
Yeah.
Algo hustling, great.
Big algo hustle. I respect it. You got to do what you got to do. No, I don't. If that's what you do. You know what I'm saying?
If that's your game.
It was a good clip, if that's what you do.
But this, what's the outlet called?
The Stop.
Whoever runs it.
His name is Danny.
Danny also is a Patreon subscriber.
Yes, well, he's going to catch us there one day, for sure. So if we get caught slipping, Danny, the algo hustler, is taking it from the Patreon, and he's putting it up. Just know that's happening. So it was funny because I didn't think anything of it when you said it. But like, an academics headline I did see that one. Okay. The academics headline was great. It was like, Ebro talks about how things have gotten harder now that he's not at Hot 97 after being fired for incompetence. I was like, wait, you just added a significant piece of that. So yeah, I thought that was funny.
Now it's so interesting, right? Because there's so many worlds on the internet. Because that's a specific world.
Exactly.
Right? Which I don't see in real life. What I see in real life are people who are like, yo, I love what you guys are doing. The studio looks great. Love the content you're covering. Love the conversations you're having. So that's a whole other world. And then there's a world of people who are like asking us to come on the show. And I'm kind of like, that's more for the Ebro show on Apple Music at 3 o'clock. Right. Like we're not, I don't think up here, all the conversations aren't going to happen here, right? Or when you launch, because you have something coming real late.
Yeah.
There's conversations that'll be for that.
Yes, I already have I can't announce yet because I didn't like the contract
the ink's
signed.
Not dry.
No, it is. It is dry. We just didn't. We didn't have the plan. Like I don't have the artwork and stuff like that. But I actually already have an awesome guest for my first episode of that. And yeah, we're gonna have separate things. Those things are all gonna happen.
But that thing that you're doing won't be promoted in this world of the negative narrative.
Because it's in the music world, and it's me and my boy Mark Top Shelf Premium in our underground world, and all of the artists will see it. But yeah, the haters aren't going to be able to be like, so they just get to be loser. He lost his job, he's finished.
Yeah.
Yes, and he doesn't support up and coming artists.
And he's not from New York.
Oh my God.
Rasan, let's get to Ebro's Algo number 12.
Oh.
This is a goodie right here.
Can't wait.
This is a nice little skit to set the tone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What?
No new wars. No new wars.
No new wars. Well, we got new wars. We got no reduced prices in groceries, increased prices in gas, and literally, I want you guys to think about this because we will unemployment, and we will get to the Kristi Noem story, which we didn't hit yesterday. At what point, when you are responsible for hiring people, okay, filling positions, and the positions continually end up with individuals who get canned by you or get into some sort of scandal, is this indicative of who you are as a person? Because if you think about Trump and this whole thing over the last 10 years, how often has there been some sort of issue or scandal around individuals that he has put in public-facing positions? We're not even talking about the positions we don't know anything about. Because the Kristi Noem story ends with the most freaky deaky, and I'm not here to kink shame.
Yeah, I don't care.
But there's some psychological issues in that household she's in.
I laughed.
So can you pretend you were moving and dealing with a lot of things, and all you saw was weird, gigantic fake boobs on a man in a photo.
That's right.
And it says Kristi Noem's husband.
That's right.
And you don't really know anything else. Imagine that's me. What exactly happened here?
He's in a chat room like this, using his real phone number and having dressed like this. Mm-hmm. And having conversations with sex workers.
That's right.
Look at this one.
Look, duck lips and all.
But this isn't
those
even.
fake boobs
Look.
are
There you go.
insane.
But that doesn't even. I don't even.
And this is old school, right? This is like old school kink right here. This ain't even new school.
No.
This old school. This was trans. This is
No, this is
cross-dressing.
cross-dressing.
This is cross-dressing.
Yes.
Was that transvestite back in the day? No,
I
that's
mean,
something else.
People mix it up, but no, this is just cross-dressing.
Transvestite is the out-of-date word for
Yeah.
being transgender.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, this is more cross-dressing.
Okay.
This is old school.
There's that old school.
When you were a kid and you'd see someone, you like look at they have a beard and they're just fully dressed like a woman. You're like, I remember being a kid and being like, I don't understand. Like, what's going on?
They used to do that at Redskins games. There used to be like,
well, hold on. Why are you bringing up the
What?
Hogs and the Hoggettes?
because I used to see that as a kid. You brought up as a kid.
Facts.
I used to be looking at
They
TV
did
like,
it?
why?
Oh
are
no!
these-
So a huge part of my childhood, frankly, was that we had these offensive linemen, maybe one of the greatest offensive lines of all time, known as the Hogs. These big, huge offensive linemen led to multiple Super Bowls for the Redskins.
Okay.
For some reason, someone in the fan base, because they were called the Hogs, their brand became the Hoggettes. And this group of fans, probably just, by the way, in retrospect, they were probably like 30 years old. And they were like, we're just fans. We get drunk at the games. We wear pig noses, dresses, and we're like their wives. Like we're the Hoggettes. It was just like a goof, I guess. I made up the wives
But
part.
I'm 7 years old.
Right, and I'm a kid too. And I'm like, I don't know what's.
8 years old. It's 83, 84, 9 years old.
Went all the way through
Crazy.
the 80s. The Hoggettes were big. No one batted an eye.
Not at all.
But
they were
weird.
definitely cross-dressed.
Yeah, they were with the pig nose, which makes it like cross species too.
Well,
I
yeah,
know,
it's
I
almost
know.
like what is that? It's not quite furries, but it's something else.
Close.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like how I consider myself a trans New Yorker now. You know what I mean? I now consider myself from New York, whether you consider it or not.
Rosenberg is transition.
I'm
But at
so
any rate, when I
sad.
saw this from Kristi Noem, so now I don't know if it's making sense to you, but this is what's going on in your home, ma'am.
She just got fired, by the way.
Reassigned.
She just got reassigned.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, fired from one job into another, but in the same government as
Well, you remember what her title was?
Department of
DHS
Secretary.
Secretary.
Yeah,
Secretary of DHS.
Did the commercials, had the whole commercial scandal.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing.
Oh, she would wear
$300 million with her ad. Remember, she was on horseback with the hat.
Oh, yeah, and she'd wear a baseball hat and look gangster and be seen holding a gun and
but
stuff
she also
like
had tons of plastic surgery to become the person that we see today.
Right.
Like, if you look at a side by side of what she...
Those before and afters are diabolical.
Dramatic. MAGA face. The whole MAGA face thing is a real thing.
Mar-a-Lago face.
Or Mar-a-Lago face. So I'm into, now I see this, I'm into the psychology of it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
And I want to, do we have number 13, Rasan? Shout out to Amanda's Mild Takes on Instagram.
I love a mild take.
You know what? That's my fault for having a phone. The thing about this story... Actually, hold on. I can't do this while the nipple is looking at me. Okay. The thing about this story that bothers me is not that he does this. I do not care that Kristi Noem's husband dresses up in drag and chats to online sex workers. I don't care. Do whatever you want. The thing I care about is that he did not even try to hide who he was. And when he gave these women his phone number, it was his real phone number, like to his business. You know, this puts Kristi Noem's whole thing into a really gross, sad light. It was already gross and sad to think that she had destroyed her face with all of that plastic surgery to make Donald Trump happy. But now knowing what her husband was, girl, maybe you should just get on your horse and gallop off into the sunset where there are none of these weird conservative men to talk to you. Kidding, don't go anywhere. We're still going to send you to prison. But it'll be a women's prison, okay? So you won't have to look at your husband's props. At least Boobygate doesn't contain any war plans.
Amanda's Mild Take. She's a good follow, by the way. She does this thing every week where it's like Donald Trump's L's of the week, where she runs through all of the things.
Because there's so many every week.
Every week that don't get coverage. Because we get the what Donald Trump's trying to do headlines, or what Donald Trump says headlines. And she always follows up with like, yeah, that didn't work. That didn't work. They stopped that. That's not working.
I just am so, you bring this up a lot, you know, when we're talking about something and you like yell like, guys, why are we even asking? The one that hit me this week where I just sat there like I don't even know what to say was when he was talking about ending, you know, signing the executive orders to end mail-in ballots.
Okay.
Because he wants, you know, our elections to have integrity. Like the fact that anyone could believe that this is being done for any reason other than the opposite of election integrity. Like if you could actually believe that, I just don't know what there is to say.
You have to keep saying to yourself, and this applies to even our more, you know, I don't know what I'm even calling this world that is academics and all of, what do we call this world? It's not the real world. It's
no.
What is it? Social media. What is?
Yeah.
Just the internet. Yeah.
The internet, the hip hop internet. It's not even the hip hop internet. What is it? What's the academics algorithm?
I mean, just that specifically, like the Vlad TVs.
What is that? Because there is a hip hop internet but it's not though, because the real hip hop internet is actually breaking down samples and lyrics and like celebrating great. Because there is a real hip hop internet that's like talking about awesome stuff.
Yes,
that is not the gossip hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop gossip internet.
Tabloid hip hop internet. Let's go with tabloid hip hop internet.
Okay,
which we obviously, with the narrative of us being lame, right, and not really building something awesome, which we know we're doing, is in. In these spaces, every accusation is a confession. Just like in the MAGA world, just like Trump. Everything they're saying is happening or others are doing is every time, don't forget that.
The Drake bot accusation at Kendrick.
Yes, all of it. Every accusation is a confession.
That's really what I got out of this. Because when I was like, yo, the most hateful people, the ones that are so anti-LGBTQ, calling it a disease and this, they're always hiding something. Just like the ones that are anti-abortion, they're always hiding something.
Always. You're right. It does. That is a tale old as time.
Yes.
And it's the same thing whether it's these people in the Kristi Noem story or Trump and the mail-in voting.
How about
It's
this?
all, they know what they do.
Yes.
And let me bring it home even closer. You know how there's people out here who are like real pause people? Like, it's not even a joke. It's like, hey, yo. And they get angry and serious. Like, yo, pause, my dude. Like, you're like,
Nah, because if you don't stop, I'm going to straight up get erect, my guy.
Oh my God.
Like, no, if you don't chill with that pause, I'm going to
and
need
so you see
to
where
have
I'm going.
sex
And
with
so
you.
you see where I'm going.
Yeah, no, you're
Which
right.
is like, yo.
No, you're being serious. Like, you're being
You're angered by this? By this insinuation that's not really a thing? That we weren't even having the conversation that is on your mind.
And no, and it wasn't even
But now you're
close.
angered by the insinuation that we possibly were kind of, sort of,
And why-
maybe in the vicinity of a convo that you don't want to have because you're insecure about. So that work, whatever that is, and I'm not, qualified to give this a real like medical diagnosis.
Right.
But whatever that is,
It's the same thing.
it's all the same thing.
You know, that's why that was a big part of my early trolling in radio, and I'm sure it did not win me favor with a certain part of the New York crowd.
Well, you're not from New York, and you're not from New York.
Is that, by the way, this is going to go forever. No matter what, he's running with this forever. But, and I kind of do laugh every time. But my enjoyment of saying really homoerotic things to make people squirm, I take sincere pleasure in it.
Well,
That's
listen,
how it makes them
It just the
we got-
fact that you could
No, you know
act-
this is documented. We got a ill LL Cool J, Rosenberg.
No, the bars. But now I feel bad doing that only on account of I don't know that he ever heard that part or cared, but I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to LL. I love the guy.
Well, no, he loves you too. He called
I know.
you, even back then, he called you a meatball.
No, by the way, we need the meatball drop. Is that in the thing?
We have it.
Meatball.
We have it. It's not in.
It's so disrespectful. So
Rosenberg, meatball.
meatball, and no, in the whole room laughing around him like Dr. Evil, and I could hear Titi like, I'm like, y'all are my friends.
Yeah, but it's like calling somebody a biscuit, though.
No, it was fine. It was fine. Meatball is a bit. And by the way, meatball and biscuit, delicious. But I really enjoy that people get so weird about stuff like
Well,
that.
so my point is with
What's
the
wrong with
Kristi
you?
Noem, her husband, what Laura was saying with these people hyper concerned about other people's genitalia and what they do with it and who they fall in love with. Those are the most freaky deaky, you must keep an eye on individuals that there are.
I know.
The religious psychos who are hyper concerned with people's genitalia and who they fall in love with, y'all are the most suspect individuals walking.
My favorite part of this whole story, right? I don't care about people's fetishes, right? Is that they're saying that the tip came from an undocumented immigrant who was sexting with him.
I know. That is
And
the
he
bonus.
was-
That's
and
the
he
icing on
was-
the
and he
cake.
was just collecting.
So,
the-
wait,
You
wait.
said the tip? Ayo. Sorry. The tip came from an immigrant. Ayo, pause, my guy.
I need my DMX. Hey, yo.
We need that too.
Yo, he was paying big bucks.
Yo, but how about
Was
this?
he really?
How about this?
$25,000
To do what?
cyber sex.
Well, how
For
about this?
cyber?
Yes.
You can't cyber for free, my guy?
No. But you know that's taxpayer money. Has to be.
Where is the money coming from?
No, remember, the Kristi Noem having to leave the position story is a $300 million expenditure paid for by us, the taxpayer, for her to create some sort of marketing and ad thing for DHS, okay? So the commercial with her on horseback, whatever. We paid $380 million for that. That money went to a business that had only been in existence for like 90 days. I might be screwing that up. So it was a new business that was started that money, taxpayer money got funneled to for a commercial. I guarantee that is a colleague of her husband's
Guaranteed.
and that money
Lock.
backdoored back to him
Lock.
and he's paying sex
Backdoored
workers.
for sure.
Hey, yo. Let's get to the rundown.
Laura got the rundown, turn that up. Screens on glow when she pull up. Headlines heavy, but we still cut up. Lights still flashing, we don't slow up.
All right. So, we didn't talk about this yesterday, but I told you guys how I went to go see Megan Thee Stallion and Moulin Rouge, how great she was. But guys, yesterday, I saw a couple of people that were at the show tweeting that She came out, they started the show, and like a few minutes into the show, they were like, they brought down the curtains and they were like, everyone stay in their seats. We're having an emergency. And it turns out that something, we don't know yet.
They said she fell ill.
She was, and then they say she was rushed to the hospital.
So she comes out on stage, starts the show.
Yeah.
In the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Feels ill enough to where it's like, yo, no, hospital.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, we need to hydrate. Tonight's a bad night. Because think about that. You're middle of a show. It's enough to say hospital.
That's why I was like, man, but can I tell you something? I also feel, you guys, Broadway is hard work.
And intense.
2 shows a day, guys. Giving it your all. I could see how...
Well, not 2 shows every day, right?
But
a few days.
There's 2 shows. I think it's 2 shows Saturday.
No, they have weekday ones too. There's matinees during the week.
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah. But there's a lot of matinee. I went to a matinee on Saturday, so I know there was like a 2 o'clock and an 8 o'clock. So, but usually it's like, okay, let's just say there's only 2 shows on Saturday. You still do Monday through it's Tuesday through Sunday, right? Rosenberg on Broadway.
Yeah.
Tuesday through Sunday. Yeah, 1 day off.
No shows on Monday, right?
So it's a lot of work.
Hell yeah.
Sunday and Wednesday, it's 2 shows, I believe.
Okay. But see, it's a lot of work. I don't think people realize how hard that is. So I see a world where she could have gotten dizzy and passed out from exhaustion or dehydration. We don't know. But I'm praying that she's okay. So Brandy has a new memoir called Phases that's dropping. So all around the internet, it's a specific thing that's caught people's attention where she talks about dating Wanya Morris when she was 16 years old.
Yeesh.
And he was 22.
Yeesh.
But she does say in retrospect that she was a child back then and he was an adult. So people are taking it as if he took advantage of her at the time. Now, mind you, she does mention that her parents had no idea. It was all secret.
Well, in the framing of
I'm assuming at the beginning it was secret.
The framing of it also from Brandy, the quote I saw, and I don't know if this is the legitimate quote, was that she said, I'm tired of being silent. As if someone was telling her not to talk about her experience. So I didn't read the book, just saw the quote, and then saw the blowback.
Yeah.
So I think that framing of
which
it...
way was the blowback, though? Was the blowback at Wanya or people doubting Brandy? Like, what was the...
The blowback was at Wanya and kind of our culture.
Yes.
Well, maybe blowback's the wrong word because it wasn't really like...
conversation.
It doesn't
It's a
feel like they're
conversation.
mad at Wanya either.
Well, some are and some
okay.
aren't. Some are like, you were 16 years old. Some people were like, I'm sorry, I knew what I was doing when I was 16 years old. And then some people are like, wait, 16 and 22, that's quite the gap if he's, he's a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the conversation. I see both sides.
I am old enough to have been in media when this took place. Because what year is this? 95? 6?
Yeah.
4?
Mm-hmm. 95, 96. Brandy wasn't out till mid-90s.
I don't even recall a convo. Because there was definitely convos about Aaliyah and R. Kelly. That was a convo in the
Sure.
90s.
Well, she was 13 or 14 and he was 27, right?
And they got married.
And they got 14 and 27 and they got married. At the time, it was what?
A big convo. Until Brandy says this the other day, I didn't know that was the age thing with them.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
No.
That Broken Hearted record, I'm playing it all the time. I love that record that they have, that duet that they have. Incredible.
Well, she claims the romance stemmed from that session.
Mm-hmm. And even today, like when we talk about, a high school girl dating a college boy or a high school boy dating a college girl, that sounds problematic. You're like, don't like it.
I go back to, remember I told you guys how I'll be on the phone cursing out a guy that kept calling my little sister at 16 and he was 21 and me cursing him out. I'm like, what do you have in common with a 16-year-old? Why are you calling her?
And now if it was my daughter, I'd be the same way. But on the outside, when you see 2 R&B superstars dating, they're working in the same industry. Does it still hit the same?
No, well, the problem is we relitigate these things 30 years later, and everyone can get on their high horse, but you remove what the situation actually felt like at the time.
Well, and that's why I bring up the R&B superstar thing, because if it was like Wanya's dating 16-year-old high school girl.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nah, this ain't it.
But
Brandy and Wanya of Boys to Men are dating.
But by the way, no one thought of Boys to Men as being old then either. They were basically kids when their first record came out. This is a few years later. This is 3 years later. They had been literally teenagers when Motown Philly came out. So no one's going, oh, they're old. It didn't feel that way.
And I don't want this to come off like we're excusing it or anything. I'm just trying to remember it.
You're just being honest about how you remember it feeling.
I remember it.
Well, also, everyone is full of ish, and none of us know the situation. We weren't there for it. And half the people watching this right now have parents where their dad was in college and their mom was in high school, and you can pick and choose how you want these things to look.
But also, Brandy's a mom now,
right?
Herself, and I don't know how old her daughter is, so I'm sure some of this comes from her thinking back on things she went through as a young girl in the game,
and maybe she really felt that way,
and it triggers her. Like, wait a minute, was I taken advantage of? Was I clearly aware of what was going on? Even if I did move and lie to my parents or withhold information from my parents, which is weird because it was like, how did I know when your parents didn't know? I'm just in media.
But didn't people kind of know?
I thought people talked about it publicly. So whatever it is, but whatever Brandy's pain is, I think we don't want to also minimize that.
No, because if she really felt that way and that's how she remembers it, is as a traumatic thing that was not good for her, we're certainly not going to be the ones who tell her not to feel that way.
Of course not.
But considering none of us know anything and we're just like looking at the story from the outside, on Twitter everyone will make it cut and dry. Wanya's terrible, or that's fine, when really there's a lot of gray on.
Well, I think what's really terrible and the real awakening here is who we are culturally in the United States. I think that's the real microscope here, is what we deem okay and how we've evolved to look at things retrospectively and say not okay.
But things change, and you can't apply the same.
But I think that's part of the learning. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what people don't understand on social, because they'll think we're all monsters even for having this conversation. But when you watch, I'm rewatching Mad Men. If you're watching Mad Men, the show that's happening in the 60s, and you apply what we now know to every conversation there, you'd be like, these people are animals.
But you're being like smart and logical. That doesn't apply to the internet.
No, it just has to be, get him up out of here.
That's right.
30 years ago,
disgusting.
him and Brandy.
Beat it.
I just don't know.
I can't believe you said all this, Rosenberg.
But I hope they found, whatever it is, I hope,
And if
Brandy
you're
found
angry
peace
about
with
what you just heard, Ebro Laura Rosenberg at Gmail will put you on Friday, Freedom Friday, Family Friday,
That's
whatever
right.
it's called.
Yes. But that's it. That's the rundown.
It's a hell of a rundown today. That was a big
outro
rundown.
is the intro. Let's get into it. She had the rundown.
Screens on glow when she pull up. Headlines heavy, but we still caught up. Lights still flashing, we don't slow
Up.
We'll see y'all tomorrow. Subscribe, share, hype, and do all the things. And Laura wants you to go buy a mug. Hold the mug up.